salutations.
Whatever comes, I'm ready.
It's quite thrilling to fight off such grim creatures as this region throws at us, especially being at your side. I once read a book that explained in some detail the effect a brush with danger has on one's desire for other forms of stimulation. Have you ever read anything on that subject? Only that I find you quite irresistible, even illuminated by such rotten light as this place produces. Perhaps it's just the thrill of our near undead experience talking. Standing at your side through such darkness and disrepair, it only makes me want you more. Unfortunately, this is neither the time nor the place to indulge such feelings, so we must be patient and push all such thoughts aside. For now. Was there anything else you wish to discuss? She expects those who seek to use the weave to do so honestly, and with respect for its potential to destroy, as well as its potential to save. I doubt she's asked many of her followers to blow themselves up. That's a fate she's bequeathed exclusively to me. She wouldn't ask such a thing if it weren't our only means of survival. However much she's annoyed at me. Oh, you know me, ever the optimist. I'm trying to focus on the positives. The truth is, I was living on borrowed time already. Consuming those items would only have kept the orb sated for so long. If anything, I feel more at peace than I have in months. At least now I know my death will have purpose. It won't be a distant bang in the footnotes of history. Ah, yes. Karsus. Karsus was perhaps the most powerful wizard that ever lived. The child who would be a god, the elves called him. And he tried. With a spell of his own devising, he endeavored to usurp in one fell swoop the power of the goddess of magic. Mistral, she was called then. Imagine what it must have felt like to be a god, to know yourself, to be untouchable, to be mistaken. As Karsus aimed his spell at her, she began to unravel, and with her, the entire weave. Too late did he realize what he had unleashed. It would have been the end of everything had not Mistral sacrificed herself. The goddess of magic is all magic. By dying, the entire weave was lost, and the spell that challenged a god failed. It was the end of Mistral, the end of Karsus, and the end of an entire civilization. As the child who would be a god was turned to stone, his empire came crashing down around him. The floating cities of Netheril were no more. An event that came to be known as Karsus's folly. For a spell, Mistral was reborn as Mistra. Upon her return, the weave returned with her. Now, so many centuries later, I try to follow in the footsteps of Karsus. Not to destroy Mistra, but to prove my love for her. I tried to control only a fraction of the magic that was unleashed that fateful day. I merely sought to return one tiny diamond to an imperfect crown. Gale's folly, one might call it. History, repetition. It's the way things go. I know what it is to hunger. And I know what it takes to keep that hunger under control. He's done that so far, despite his condition. So long as he sates his appetite elsewhere, I'm happy to give him the benefit of the doubt.
traitors among us. A child taken. And still I can only feel relief. If they had taken Isabel too, I thought I was prepared for treachery. But an all-out assault. I blundered into their trap like a fool. You have the honor of making up for my mistake. I trust that you will. Then speak. Ugh, some crusty balladmonger, I expect. They have me slaying gods or laying with them, depending on the bard. You'll have to sing that one for me when all of this is done. In any case, it was a lifetime ago by now. And for all our victories, we remain on the back foot. We fight, we die, and we just hope that when our time comes, there is someone else to take our place. No need of that. Every harper is a bard unto themselves, I'm afraid. Help me root out this cult, and they can spin stories about you for a change.
The journey back to Baldur's Gate won't be easier, but your task here is harder still. Timora be with you.
I'd love to, thanks.
I'm ready.
Playtime's over, pet. Ah, I love this time of year. The dickheads start popping up wherever you look.
What do you want, Mizora?
Drop the attitude and perk up your ears. You've got a new mission. Absolute's cult has gone and grabbed one of Zariel's assets. A devil, and a powerful one at that. They're locked up in the cult's fortress, Moonrise Towers, and you're getting him out. Ahem. Clause Z, Section 13. Should promised soul refuse abeyance or neglect duty, the pact holder shall cast the promised into Avernus as a lemure. I'll make it simple. Will fails or refuses, and he turns to a thick blob of stink flesh and sinks to Avernus. Now, be a good boy and play fetch, pup, or you'll spend an eternity sizzling in the hells.
Mizora's words may be flippant, but they are tinged with desperation. She cannot afford for Will to fail this mission. This may be your best chance to negotiate Will out of his pact.
Oh, and what condition is that?
Your mind links with Will's, drawn in by his increasing panic.
What are you doing?
Will relaxes, and your connection fades.
Interesting. Now, why should I go letting my favorite pet off his leash?
You recall an old incantation from a children's story, said to void a devil's contract. Abi diabole et numquam redi.
I've never seen such a fearless display of sheer idiocy. Bravo! Fine. I'll play your game. But I amend the pact once the mission's done, not before. Clause F, Section 9. Soulbinder shall bestow reward or favor only upon soul bearer's fulfillment of related obligation. Now, to Moonrise, pet. And do mind the shadows. They've been especially hungry.
You know, I feel a connection between us. Like we're two souls walking the same path. You might be a little naive in the ways of the world, but I see promise in you. Ambition. Just that you have a big heart. You like doing what's right. So I was thinking, what would be the right thing to do when we get to Moonrise Towers? When we come face to face with whoever is controlling the parasites in our heads? That's the obvious option, yes. But consider the alternatives. Just think. How many people have the Mind Flayers infected? Hundreds? Thousands? And they're not just goblin trash. There are powerful people in the Worm's thrall. Whoever's waiting for us at Moonrise Towers controls it all. But if we can take that control from them, imagine the power we'd wield. I mean, I assume there's some device controlling these things, so we find that. Murder some people and, Look, I'm not a details person, all right? But turning up and causing chaos has worked for us so far. I'm just saying, there's an opportunity here. If we can control the tadpoles, we can keep ourselves safe. And liberate the world from this evil. do. It's not often the universe hands you something like this. We'd be fools to squander it. Of course, this all assumes we live long enough to find this, moonrise. But I'm feeling optimistic. Why do you insist on exhuming the past? I was a slave. A vampire spawn. Kept by the Tsar family. Perhaps I still am. I was never able to resist their commands. But now, I've been conveniently lost. They won't ever control me again. I've already apologized. What more do you want? Unless you're looking for another nibble. Fine. As long as I don't have to go back to animal blood. It's muck. But now that you know what I am, I can fight with all my weapons. Teeth included. And if I happen to drain the occasional bandit, what's the harm? As am I. I'm starting to feel a little peckish already. It's simple. Just find a vampire that will drink your blood and turn you into a vampire spawn. Their obedient puppet. In theory, the next step is to drink their blood. Once you've done that, you're free and a true vampire. People think the biggest threat to a vampire is a cleric with a stake. It's not. The biggest threat to a vampire is another vampire. They're scheming, paranoid, power-hungry beasts. So why would any vampire give up control over a spawn to create a competitor? Trust me, it doesn't happen. Who knows? Drow? Mind flayers? Death? Hopefully not ours. But maybe answers, if we can convince the right people to talk.
The more bullshit she pours, the more of it I'm forced to swallow.
Mazora set me on fiends inside and outside the Hells. She's never ordered a rescue.
Gods. She makes a mockery of everything the Blade stands for. Such an asshole.
Thank you for sticking your neck out for me. I mean it, but I'm not going to celebrate till I'm actually free. Can already feel her scheming. She won't let me go without a fuss. Trust me on this. Not a one. All that matters is that we free it. Fail, and I'm made a mindless blob clawing at demons on the front lines of the Blood War. And it means everything to me. I always knew what my future held, and I know I chose right. Then we know our mission. All roads converge at moonrise. I was 11 when the Councillor spotted and slayed an assassin who stalked Father from the shadows. I was 13 when she brought word of a goblin warband advancing on Rivington. Her keen scouting saved 100 lives that day. The Councillor's loyalty to my father is beyond question. She's as steady as Tyr's heartbeat, as upstanding as the Sword Mountains. Father's at Moonrise Towers, and we need to save him. They want violence, they want control, they want Baldur's Gate. Who better than Grand Duke Ravengard to surrender it? Who better than the commander of the Flaming Fist to dismantle its defenses? They will infect him, and the city's guardian will become its ruin, unless we put a stop to it. We can't and we won't. The shadows be damned. Not so enchanting as you'd think. The Portiers, the Caldwells, they were the blue bloods hosting the fancy balls and drinking from gold goblets. Father's the son of a blacksmith, born with barely a coin in the coffers. He made a name for himself among the Flaming Fist, brave as Balduran, stubborn as a deep Rothay, daring, outspoken, but hardly posh. I spent more time dueling with Father than I did rubbing elbows with lords. Not to say I didn't develop a taste for good wine and the talent for courtly dance. It's been a badger's age since I've twinkled my toes. A drunk ogre could put on a better show. Tempting. Give it some time. Develop a bond and maybe I'll show you a move or two.
He brings to mind a story. The Devil with the Silver Tongue.
An old fairy tale my father read to me. The kind with a hero, a villain, and a moral. A farmer made a deal with the devil, so the story goes. In exchange for the farmer's dearest fruit, the devil granted him a bottomless coin purse. The farmer's dearest fruit, naturally, was no apple nor peach, but his beloved daughter. We can learn a lot from fairy tales, don't you think? Refuse him, no matter how tempting the offer, no matter how delicious the feast he lays out for you. The cost will be too great. That's because you still have hope. But when he becomes your last hope, remember this. He'll require of you only what you're least ready to part with, and then require more still. You might think you'd give up anything for a cure, but the devil won't take just anything. He'll take everything. It's said that anyone who bathes in the river of blood emerges as one born anew. It's a lot like that, I imagine. I feel the weight of these horns on my head, curling upwards like a mammoth's tusks. I feel these ridges snaking down my neck, not to mention a few bumps and prongs in unmentionable places. But I haven't seen my reflection just yet. Be my mirror. What do you see? I can't tell if you're being silly or serious. I'll accept the flattery either way. I suppose I'll grow used to the new me, horns and all. The people will see a curiosity, maybe even a beast hungry for their souls. But I will slay their monsters, keep them safe, and one day they will see the Blade of Frontiers again. I think that unknowable powers come with unknowable consequences. I can't say I'm not curious, but once you've taken a Illithid by the talon, there's no telling how deep into the abyss it might drag you. I'm more than a bit wary, I admit. Still, I am the Frontier's avowed protector. New dangers require new skills to vanquish them. If the tadpole must be my curse, then let the powers it grants me be the Sword Coast's blessing. I will consume what I must to make it so.
God damn it! Why did it have to be Mizora? Why did it have to be Zariel? We're supposed to risk our necks to get one of her assets? What if it's a runaway like me? Or something far worse? I want to believe that as much as you do. Almost as much as Will does. But I just know there will be more to the story. There always is. It's a bad idea to play games with the devil. You'd never win. Not ever.
I can keep going a little longer now.
Rest eludes you. All you can think of is this strange new place where even the stars themselves have been smothered by Lady Shah's embrace. What does the Dark Lady want of you? At times it feels like she is punishing you, while other times she shields you. You feel lost. A sensation that is not new to you. In fact, one of the few memories you can still lay claim to is of being lost. Lost and afraid. Before Lady Shah, you were nothing. An orphan who could not forget the howl of wolves. She saved your life. She gave you a family. That memory of the woods, nearly dying, being saved. It's all you have of your childhood. Lady Shah guards the rest. Perhaps this is a test. Mother Superior would have you make for Baldur's Gate without delay. But the call of the Dark Shah cannot go ignored. Whatever awaits you in these lands is important and must be found. The Dark Lady wills it in her own way.
barricade coming along. It ain't pretty, but it can take a beating. It'll need to. Cleric's magic won't hold out the darkness forever.
It's for a good cause.
Aye. Our asses. See any movement out there?
It's clear, Mom. Good. We'll leave soon.
Watching us.
I sold a pair of boots to that traitor. Can't believe it. Cheeky. But, since you're asking,
Bloody army.
see if there's anything you need. We don't know when the next blow might land. Take care now.
Aye. Our asses. See any movement out there?
Too dark to tell.
I bet they're close. Watching us.
Jahira wants to know about supplies. Will we make it home?
Burning through our oil, but it should just about do.
Just about.
Just about. We shouldn't hang around too long, though.
There's more where that came from.
Wish we had stone or steel.
I wish we had a bloody army.
Midges. Shouldn't nature be beautiful and serene? It looks so nice in the upper city parts.
Upper City, huh? Swish. Never spent much time there myself.
I'll happily take you, if we survive this bug's banquet.
Sounds good. I've always been curious what a patriarch looks like.
I spy with my little eye.
Let's not touch those webs or I'll end up as a meal.
have some carnage. Let's have a little fun. This way. Don't look now.
Pawn to Cleric 4.
Hungry for the slaughter. Step quick.
Covered.
Over here.
Fuck yes.
Don't get too close.
Take your might as well help myself.
Keep your blade close. Ready or not. Don't look now.
straight.
Good show.
What should I do? Onward.
Now they see me. A fine opportunity.
Unleash me.
Can't afford to let up.
striking distance.
Got to concentrate.
Excellent.
On the move.
Hup, hup.
Let's find some prey. While they're distracted, outmaneuver them.
Tactical.
May the dice roll in my favor. Outflank, outsmart.
Take two.